3 years after the House of the Dead 4, after receiving a movement from Code R, the AMS dispatched James Taylor's former partner, Kate Green, and his younger brother, Ryan Taylor, on an undercover mission in a dinner event within Scarecrow's mansion. However, the Mystery Man begins to unleash his own army of creatures upon the dinner guests and soon the world in House of the Dead, Scarlet Dawn.
Welcome to EX Podcast, your one-stop shop for everything gaming. I'm your host, Leon, and today I'm joined by a man who needs no introduction. The organizer of everyone's favorite convention, Sonic and Sega Fan Jam, and a Sega fanatic, a man we call Patrick Gardner, a.k.a. Cory Maru. How are you doing today, Pat?
Hey guys, how's it going, guys?
Good. Thanks for coming on. We needed a House of the Dead professional today.
Ooh.
Yeah, exactly. Spooky stuff. So let's see. So obviously, as the listeners could tell, the title of this episode is all about House of the Dead, Scarlet Dawn. Absolutely. It's an up-and-coming arcade release done by Sega and another edition in the House of the Dead series. Are you excited to talk about this today, Pat?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. Exactly. Yeah. No, I'm ready for this. I'm so pumped. I'm almost like I can't get my thoughts straight because it's been so long since we've seen House of the Dead.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I want to say the last time we've seen like House of the Dead was, if I want to include a spin-off, Typing of the Dead Overkill back in 2013.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
ever since then, it's been like maybe a good 2 to 4 years since we heard like another House of the Dead game.
Yeah. And it's I think like 4 was the last canonical one, right?
4 was the last. Actually, in the main series, it was the last House of the Dead game to be released in the arcades, and
Sick.
including the special version. That's
Awesome.
exclusive to like certain amusement parks like Sega Joyopolis in Japan.
Those friggin' exclusives. It's tough to be living in America.
I know, right?
Honestly. So now, listeners, today is a bit different. We are covering not only a game that will, breathe new life into an older series, but also it is a cutting-edge arcade cabinet. So we're going to be talking about that also. So all about Scarlet Dawn here today. So get ready because Patrick's going to give us the deets on that. But before we go into things, I want the audience to kind of get to know you a little bit, Patrick. So tell us about your credentials. Why is it like all about Sega for you? What's the deal with that?
Okay. As you know, I am a contributing writer for SegaBits.com. We cover Sega news. We do interviews with like people from the video game industry, such as Sega or any other media outlet. We also do our own podcast. It's called Sega Bit Swinging Report Show.
Okay.
We also go to different conventions to cover like basically video games, stuff that's coming from Sega, stuff from comic book conventions and such.
Yeah. So anything that's Sega, you guys take care of pretty much.
Yeah. Anything that's Sega related, we got you guys covered.
Yeah, I saw you dressed up in your Yakuza cosplay the other day, repping Yakuza 6, right?
Oh yeah, Yakuza 6, The Song of Life. Oh, that game is amazing. It's so I was actually playing it earlier today. I'm gonna try to like 100% it.
Wow.
Right now, I'm pretty much going through the whole. Before I go through the whole storyline, I'm trying to knock out all the sub stories, and then finish the game.
You're really putting all your time into that one, huh?
Oh yeah. But enough about Yakuza. Let's talk about myself a little bit. I've been a Sega fan since I was 4 years old.
Wow.
My first Sega game was Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Classic.
It's Sonic the Hedgehog, of course, and we got the blast processing with the Genesis console, and then from that point on, I got into other games like Streets of Rage, Golden Axe.
Nice. Yeah, absolutely.
Virtual Fighter.
You got some of those classics under your belt, huh?
Oh yeah, so many classics. I grew up with them, and from that point on, I ended up getting the other consoles like the Sega Saturn, and then the Sega Dreamcast, and then
Man, I loved the Saturn for sure. That was a great system.
So like, yeah, I've been everywhere with Sega ever since. I fell in love with their consoles. I think it's like the reason why I like them so much is the way they've developed their games and stuff. Like they have some type of inspiration whenever they like develop their games. Like House of the Dead, for example. They took some inspiration from like different media, like the movie Seven, starring Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and the manga Blackjack, from the creator of Astro Boy. They pretty much like, took all those together and stuff and made it to their own.
Sort of their own brand, almost.
And now what got me really into House of the Dead, I believe it was years ago. It's like either 1996 or 97 when the first game came out. I remember I was with my aunt at the Eisenhower movie theater in Savannah, and there was this deluxe version of like House of the Dead with the big screen.
Yeah, the extra big screen, yeah.
Yeah, so like the first thing I saw was like a DBR scientist running away from like a zombie with an axe, and the zombie's name is Cyril. I didn't find that out till like years later, and my God, like when it zoomed up to him and he like slashed the screen, I ran like a little girl and cried.
Oh my God! You were dreaming about that, huh?
Yeah, it was so like at the time it felt so realistic. Like it's like something is coming at you, and like you have like to react really fast before it gets you.
I mean, I remember PS1 graphics when I was a kid, thinking that looked super real. Like Resident Evil 1's cutscene just blew my brain.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
And ever since then, I was like really afraid like the House of the Dead series. I never played like House of the Dead until House of the Dead 3. I started playing that game, and then it was like the voice acting was kind of cheesy, but at the same time it kind of felt good, and like you like when you play as the characters and stuff, you feel like this sense of heroic justice, and you just blasting like zombies like left and right.
You finally were able to get
so good.
You're finally able to get back at those zombies that scared you as a kid too.
Exactly.
Yeah, you pick up the light gun and you just blast them away. And I mean, honestly, we're going to talk more about the voice acting in a little bit, but just to sort of comment on that, for me personally, I really like horror games that sort of don't take themselves seriously sometimes, and they have that cheesy voice acting. It sort of adds to the almost like, I don't know, like the charm of it,
Yeah.
For me, at least. Some people just hate it, but I think it's fun.
I remember my uncle used to play Resident Evil 2 back in the PlayStation, and like when I saw Leon getting eaten by a bunch of zombies and stuff, I was afraid of zombies ever since.
Oh yeah,
and now,
for real.
Yeah, like now it's like okay, I'm kind of into them a little bit. It's
yeah, for real. I mean, they're super cool. They make really good suspense in games too.
Yeah.
Honestly, but like I mean, and cheesy voice acting. I mean, everybody remembers the line from Resident Evil, like, "Oh no, I was almost a Jill sandwich." Like that's like a classic line,
That was too close. You were almost a Jill sandwich.
You're right. Barry, thanks for saving my life.
Capcom really nailed that down. Like they stuck with that sort of, that angle. So, but but yeah, before we move on with like these topic points, one thing that we like to do on EX Podcast is, since you're like the pro, like you've played all the House of the Dead games, you know exactly what you're talking about. Some people that listen to our podcast may have never seen a cabinet like you did when you were 4, or like even know what House of the Dead is. Can you give us like what it's like to pick up the light gun, what exactly House of the Dead is, for like visualize it for someone who has just never even played House of the Dead before?
Think of it as when you first pick up the game and stuff, you feel like you're kind of you're a part of the experience. It's a rail shooter.
Yeah.
So the game will actually go through in its entirety automatically as you're blasting through zombies and stuff, and then you're also in the first two games you have to rescue like civilians or scientists that are like trapped in the city or in a mansion, and you get bonus scores if you save them, and if you kill them you lose a life point. So it's like a what if scenario, like what if a zombie apocalypse is happening and what would you do in that situation, pretty much. That's what House of the Dead is about. And also I think people will love the replay value where there's different branching paths where you have to let's say for example if you rescue a civilian you go to one path, but if you don't rescue a civilian you go to another path. So it's they got this big branching system where you can try out if you want to play the game over and over again.
It's since it's arcadey, it tends to be a quarter eater, so it's you want to try real hard to take those harder options, right, to see if you can get higher scores or different endings and things like that.
Exactly, yes. And practice makes perfect and stuff, because some of the bosses are kind of tricky to beat. Magician.
They can be, and some of them you need a full clip to make it so that they won't hit you.
Yeah,
which is insane to me. Which we'll talk about in a second, because I watched all the gameplay of the location test for Scarlet Dawn, and that friggin' boss, the Chariot, looks pretty tough.
Yes. So you want me to go ahead and talk about the arcade cabinet for Scarlet Dawn?
Yeah. So the information, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, the information that I dug up on the cabinet itself, from what I saw, it's got an air cannon in it and vibrating seats, and it's supposed to draw people in to watch you play the game. Which is really cool. But yeah, tell us about the arcade cabinet.
Yeah, so basically, if you guys are familiar with Dave & Buster's and stuff, this is arcade called
Dave & Buster's.
I think Dark Escape, made by Namco.
Yeah.
They have a similar arcade cabinet where you're in this arcade cabinet for Scarlet Dawn. Once you're in, you're introduced to this big 4DX screen as if you're watching a movie, but you're a part of it at the same time. And,
that's so exciting.
And the air cannon, it's a feature where you really experience what's going on in the game. So let's say for example if you're hit by an enemy attack and stuff, the air cannon will shoot at your face pretty much. And then we're also shooting and reloading and stuff. And I believe this might be Japan exclusive. Japan has this card called the Ame card, where you can actually use your own personal card to save data in the game. I'm not sure if it's
they have that at what is it called? They have a line of Japanese arcades in Atlanta and stuff like that. And they do the same thing where you can save your DDR scores or your Mario Kart scores on a card.
Yeah, that's exactly what Scarlet Dawn is doing.
Round 1, that's what it's called. Sorry, round 1.
And the gun is all motion control now. I mean, it's still wired, but
to prevent theft.
they've improved it where it's where I believe the gun doesn't break. I remember a couple of times I went to Dave & Buster's, the House of the Dead 4 guns are busted pretty much.
Yeah,
when I try to shoot
I've had
the gun
that
and reload.
problem so many times with light gun games, and one side of the screen won't work right or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's just sort of the nature of some of those older light gun games, because it's just the upkeep is a lot, and especially when they're imported to America, there's not really people maintaining them well.
Yeah, and House of the Dead Scarlet Dawn, story-wise, it takes place a few years after the events of House of the Dead 4.
Yeah.
It stars AMS agent Kate Green from the last game, and a new character named Ryan Taylor, who happens to be the brother of James Taylor from the second and the fourth game.
Right.
And-
So he's like the rookie, right? That's sort of a House of the Dead thing, right? The rookie and the veteran.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. So are they new characters to the series?
Yeah, well, Kate Green is like the heroine from House of the Dead 4 when she was introduced.
Okay.
So she's pretty much advising Ryan Taylor as they go through like the mansion, where it was
Awesome.
supposed to be like a party until the mystery man. He also appeared in the third and fourth game. If you like done well,
Right.
you get like
the
an
secret
ending
villain,
with him
right?
limping his leg.
Yeah.
Yeah. He unleashes zombies in the mansion
What a
and stuff,
jerk.
and you have to go and like prevent like danger from happening and like save civilians while like
And
the
there's
whole,
like from the location test, there's like during that time there's like some sort of like high class party or something going on, right?
yeah.
Yeah, and he's like just releases all the zombies on all these like rich people.
Yeah. Oh my god. And now, okay. So the gameplay and stuff.
Yeah.
Pretty much it's like House of the Dead 4. I think what the House of the Dead team did was combined everything that everybody loved about House of the Dead. The matching settings from the first one, the cheesy dialogue from the second.
Don't kill me!
There was nothing we could do.
I love it. So good.
You rescue your partner and rescue civilians from the second and third game and the first, and you have the ability to like switch weapons. But I believe that's on master mode. So you have a Uzi, a shotgun, a flamethrower, and a laser gun. I believe from what I saw.
There's a grenade launcher too, right?
And yeah, a grenade launcher too, and
Yeah.
a rocket launcher.
Oh, cool. Yeah, the grenade launchers are always really fun. I love like wiping out whole entire hordes in one shot.
Oh my god! And they like explode and then like they turn to like dust.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I've heard like a lot of criticism about that, where you like kill the zombies and stuff, their limbs doesn't fall off.
Okay.
I believe it's because like the censorship in Japan, where they like yeah, they had like an incident like years ago, and they kind of like censored like anything that has
Gotcha.
anything to do with gore.
Okay,
like,
so they're really picky about that in the arcade scene.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of young kids going in and playing these games. Because unlike, when you go to GameStop and you buy like an M-rated game, like sometimes if you look too young, they'll card you. But I guess like in an arcade, you pay, you get in, you play.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. So like actually that actually is one of my other questions for you. Do you, after watching the location test of Scarlet Dawn and sort of seeing everything the game had to offer, do you have any like first impression critiques or worries about the game so far, personally, or are you just like 100% amped for it?
I am 100% apt for it.
You're like, it can do no wrong. It's good to go.
I wish I hope Sega could do if they ever release a console version. I hope it doesn't take like another 10 years like with House of the Dead.
Yeah.
I think it was like it was 10 years. Yeah, House of the Dead 4, it took them like a long time.
Yeah,
House of the Dead 4 was out since 2005, and they didn't get like a PlayStation port until like 2012.
Yeah, that took forever. Sometimes games just like, I mean, I'm still waiting for Dragon Quest XI to come out in the States, and it's been out in Japan for like 2 years.
Oh man.
Like, but I mean, House of the Dead has less of an excuse, I guess, because like with RPGs, they have like, oceans of text to translate and voice acting to do. But in House of the Dead, it's just like more straightforward,
Yeah,
so.
And for Scarlet Dawn too, I'm hoping to see some for the console version. I'm hoping they can like extend it a little bit, maybe with some more levels.
Yeah.
Or like a DLC scenario where you're playing as the other characters from the series.
That would be cool.
Like Gary Stewart from House of the Dead 2, or Thomas Rogan and G for the first game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I just hope they expand that.
Every time anyone brings up G, I just like remember that stupid gargoyle from House of the Dead 2 talking about G.
Oh yeah, Deal.
Yep.
Yeah,
he's my favorite.
Oh, you know what? That's something I want to mention too. So years ago, I've emailed Sega to see if I can interview the director of the House of the Dead series. His name is Takashi Oda.
Okay.
I asked him a few questions about like behind the scenes development of like the first House of the Dead game, and I asked them if they're able to like make a sequel to any of their House of the Dead games.
Okay.
Will we see any like returning bosses? And he said yes. So
Awesome.
Chariot is back. So
Yeah.
we might see like a talking gargoyle like Zeal or the Hangman.
Man, I hope so. They're my favorite. I love those bosses. They're so great. They're so great. They add such a good charm to the game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, man. So yeah, I'm on your page too. After watching the Scarlet Dawn location test in Japan, I don't really have any critiques. I mean, it looks like House of the Dead. It's gonna play like House of the Dead. The arcade cabinet looks sweet. Like all the sound effects sound good, and it looks really good. Like they updated how it looks, but they still kept it kind of retro looking in a weird way, and I really like that.
Oh yeah, Sega's on a roll.
Yeah, they really have been. I was worried a little bit, especially with the Atlas stuff, but I mean they've been killing it lately.
Oh yeah.
And what was it? So how do you feel about them removing the word "the" from the title? Now it's just House of the Dead, Scarlet Dawn. Do you care?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but I think it was from a tweet. I used the Twitter translator. I think they said they're going to explain why they removed the "the" from there.
Okay.
And I think they're going to probably like talk about the Mystery Man or like what the plot is for the game later on too.
He went into their system and edited their title on release. But, I mean, yeah, I want to know more about the Mystery Man. I want to know more about these crazy zombies and what's going on. I agree with you. I hope that we have some extra content if we get a console release. I hope that a Switch release comes because I'd love to see the HD Rumble use. It's always more fun to play in the arcade, so you got to give those console ports something to, really sink their teeth into.
Exactly, yeah. So, like, something like with House of the Dead Overkill, it was long and lengthy, but I liked it.
Yeah, for real. That was the Wii one, right?
Yeah, it was the Wii and PlayStation 3.
That's the one where it was
extended cut.
That's the one where they gratuitously swore, right? Like they just had the characters that were just like dropping F-bombs everywhere and shit.
Oh yes.
Yeah, that's a fun game. Like I love how insane. Who is the black main character that you play as? What's his name?
Isaac Washington.
Yeah, he's awesome. I love him. Isaac is he's on point. He's so fun to play as. All of his dialogue's really fun. He's just like,
here I am teamed up with a partner I don't even fucking need, forced to sit in the motherfucking passenger seat, which I have not fucking done since I was a kid, while he goes all soft talking about his feelings for his motherfucking tunes. Shit. Just play your fucking music.
He's reacting like how I would during like a zombie apocalypse. Like, what the fuck is going on right now? He's just pissed off.
You know what? Like, that's another thing too. I would like to see in Scarlet Dawn if they like surprisingly bring him back.
Yeah.
Like in like one of the endings.
Yeah, no, he's great. He stands out in my mind. Maybe I played that game like more recently than other games in the series, but I mean, whatever. He's great. So. But yeah, so we don't really have a whole lot of information on the actual game other than the location test. Do we have any idea how long the game's going to be or how many levels? Because the location test was just like the 2 levels and the boss, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to say since there's chapter 0 and then you got like at least 3 more. I think they're going with the House of the Dead 3 route where like you play 1 level. And then you pick a level that you want to choose and stuff from there.
All right, so like a branching path kind of deal.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, I love the branching path. It gives like great replayability. I love when they do that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, man. I just can't wait to play it. Like
I'm pumped too. Do you know? So it's coming out this year in 2018. Do we have any idea like what month it might be coming out, or do we just not know at all?
There was a guy I've interviewed for my podcast Podcast of the Dead. His name is Martin, also known as Double D. He runs Throwback Tokyo. He basically covers arcade games all over Japan. He played House of the Dead Scarlet Dawn. He came to a theory where, like, it might come out around maybe late autumn, maybe summertime, which I would assume too.
Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah. That's awesome. I mean, I hope so, dude. I'm going to Japan this year in December, I think, maybe a little later. But I'm crossing my fingers that game is out because I want to play that game in Japan. It would be like super authentic, you know?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that would be so cool. But yeah, no, definitely good inside info on that one. That's definitely some good information. But yeah, I'm pumped about Scarlet Dawn. I can't wait to see more about the game. I just can't wait to get my hands on it, honestly. And my first like big, besides House of the Dead, like at round 1 when I went in, I think last year, 2017. I played some of those like concealed, like, you know, like the Luigi's Mansion arcade game and the Castlevania arcade game and some House of the Dead stuff. I love that, like sitting down in front of a big screen, like the stereo is blasting at you and you're just like in it, you know?
Yeah.
It's so great. So I'm ready. I'm strapped in. I mean, I will be honest though. I kind of suck at them, so I might die. But I mean, I'll spend $20 on that game. I don't care. Honestly.
Well, yeah, and I hope after Scarlet Dawn, it gets like a positive reaction, and hopefully we'll get like more House of the Dead games.
Yeah, get momentum and stuff.
Yeah. I would love to see like a VR House of the Dead game.
Yeah. Yeah,
where
PlayStation VR needs more love too, so like that would be cool to see on that. So, I mean, I would love to see like a really good VR House of the Dead port. It'd be sweet. So, as a House of the Dead fan, what is your favorite House of the Dead game? Do you have like one that's on top of the list, like no contenders, or is it close, or what's going on with that?
Dang, that's a good question. That's a very good question. There's. I'll say this. My favorite all-time House of the Dead game will have to be the very first one.
Wow, the classic. Why is that?
Yeah. I just like it's like this atmosphere and the setting where like you're going through a creepy mansion and there's like some scientific stuff going on with like the creatures that are being developed by a scientist, you know. It has that
feel that you like.
It has that what's the word? It's the atmosphere. It has that dark atmosphere to it in some degree.
Right. That's awesome.
And I like the motivation with Rogan after he's seen his like when he's seen his like fiance getting killed by a chariot. It motivated him and G to like stop this at no cost, like without like so that way like no one else would have to suffer like she did, and save the world from a mad scientist releasing monsters throughout the world. And
like classic survival horror, but like with its own twist.
Yeah,
that's sweet. And that's a good reason.
Yeah, and like the bosses are really cool too. I want to say my favorite two are Hanging Man and the Magician.
Oh, dude, the Magician, that was the one that you were mentioning that was like really hard to fight, right?
Yeah, it's the most recurring boss. Is usually, well, after his first appearance, he's usually like the second last boss you have to fight.
Okay. Oh, sort of like how like Death in Castlevania.
Yeah.
Deal. Yeah. That's awesome.
So he's like a reoccurring like villain in the series and stuff. Like he has his grudge against the AMS agents and
yeah. So he'll probably show up in the new game then.
He probably would. There's this lost like sound clip in House of the Dead 4 special where he says like no matter what they do to kill him and stuff, he'll always come back as long as darkness is still in their hearts. So it's just that line. Like the mission does not play. He's serious. He wants to rule. Like he wants to destroy the world and stuff. And it's up to like humanity to like get together and save it.
That's evil, dude. I mean, part of me is like, upset that that wasn't in the game, but also it's kind of cooler that it was like a lost audio file.
Yeah. Oh, another thing I want to mention too. Sega's been making like a lot of deals with movie studios.
Okay.
I think they were making like a bunch of like animated shorts or movies for like their IPs, like Alter Beast, Shinobi, Golden Axe, Virtua
Man,
Fighter.
I love me some Alter Beast, dude. I love Alter Beast.
Yeah, so like if they ever make a new House of the Dead movie or a sequel, please stay true to the source material. Please
Right?
stay true to the source
Hey man,
material.
if they're filming at all in your area, you should try to be an extra.
Oh man, I totally would go. I totally would.
Get shot by a grenade launcher. Yeah, man. Video game movies, like, they have been improving, and in my opinion, some people super disagree with me. Video game movies got like a bad rap because one director made a bunch of them and they all sucked. And we've talked about this on the podcast before, but I really do think that the Silent Hill movie, the first one, was really good for a game adaptation. And I think that, like, House of the Dead's sort of in that ballpark. I think that if they put that kind of care into it, we could get a really sweet film. And, like, not just, like, really good, but if they stay true to the source material, we'll get, like, kind of a cult classic-y movie because it'll be a little cheesy but also really cool,
Yeah, exactly. And Mortal Kombat, the first movie was pretty good too. Actually,
yeah, that's true. Yeah, that movie was pretty good.
They captured like the charm of the characters and stuff. You get to know them.
Yeah, that song really made it too. The theme song they wrote.
Oh yeah, definitely. Mortal Kombat.
As you might or may or may not know, Patrick, I love the Street Fighter 2 movie from the 90s. It sucks. It sucks. It sucks huge dick, but like, I mean, they made Zangief a bad guy, and like, E Honda shows up for a second, I think, but like, M. Bison like was such a good role.
The day Bison graced your village was the most important day of your life. But for me, it was Tuesday.
And I just love that movie. So corny. And Street Fighter, like, people may or may not understand, it's really corny and on purpose.
Yeah.
Capcom and Sega are sort of on that same page where they keep their games really fun by having that flavor, but they also just really appeal to the diehard fans too,
Yeah.
But yeah, no, video game movies, I would be super down. I heard that Sonic the Hedgehog is going to be getting a movie at some point, an animated film.
Yeah, I think they're going to be shooting in Vancouver in 2 months. Actually,
awesome.
I think in July.
Yeah. I mean, if it's anything like the Sonic Mania animations that have been coming out, I'm super in, because those were so good.
Oh yeah, they're really good.
Yeah, because I'm pretty critical on Sonic, but like I really like Mania, and those... Tyson Hesse, I think is his name.
Yeah.
Is just amazing. He's such a good thing for Sonic. I think he has turned Sonic into something that I remember loving as a kid,
Yeah, Tyson is like the new god of Sonic fan bases all around.
Man, he's so great. Yeah, listeners, if you haven't seen this guy's stuff or seen at least like the Sonic Mania opening or any of the animated shorts, go check him out. It's like, even if you're not a Sonic fan, like, it's so charming, and it's just it's great.
It's really good. They put like a lot of hard work and effort into it. It's remarkable.
Definitely, all the artists that I like follow and respect. As I went to an art school, Savannah College of Art and Design, like a lot of the artists that I graduated with, like, really respect them, even if they could give two shits about Sonic. They just were like, this guy's on point. So that you definitely know when people who don't care about the content you're creating still respect you, that you're a good artist.
Oh yeah.
So, Patrick, is there anything else that you'd like to add about House of the Dead? Anything that you'd like to sort of like point out to our fans or anyone who's interested in getting into the games, like where to start? Some of the games are kind of like hard to get a hold of. Like, what are the best platforms to play them on? If you want to play Typing of the Dead, how can you do that? Like, give us the deets on that.
Okay, so for the new generation, if you guys want to get into House of the Dead, quick and easy. If you own a PC, you can play it through Steam. There's House of the Dead Overkill for a good price. It has Typing of the Dead and House of the Dead Overkill as a bundle together, so you can pretty much like switch games to whatever your choosing is. As for the other ones, House of the Dead 3 and 4, if you still have a PlayStation 3 or if you have PlayStation Now, you can play those. As long as you have for the PlayStation 4 version, as long as you have good internet connection with PlayStation Now, you should be able to play House of the Dead 3 and 4 for free. If you own a PlayStation 3, however, it's about maybe $5 to download. Cheap. And for Nintendo goers, if you happen to own a Nintendo Wii, there's House of the Dead 2 and 3 Return, which is a compilation of the second game and the third game.
Cool.
You can find those either at your local GameStop for maybe a good price, maybe $5 to $10.
Mm-hmm.
Funny story, I found Ghost Squad for $1. And
I love it.
Yeah, it's still a good game. It's a good shooting game. Yeah, you can get it from there.
I love those good finds.
Yeah, you can get it from there. You can get it from eBay as well for good prices.
That's rad.
For the original, you can always use emulators. But if you want the real thrill experience with the first game, I recommend going to your local movie theater or anything that has a small arcade that in your local areas. You
usually find one there, yeah.
Yeah, you usually find any House of the Dead title in there. So those are
they've got they usually have House of the Dead, Hydro Thunder, and some miscellaneous racing game and maybe a Pac-Man machine. But House of the Dead was all over the place.
Yeah, House of the Dead is all over the place.
Yeah.
I've seen the first game very commonly, so you might be able to see the first game than the other ones.
Yeah, they have. I mean, in my hometown that I live in now, we have 3 movie theaters, and 2 of them have a House of the Dead cabinet. So I'm actually, I saw A Quiet Place the other day, and I was playing a little bit. So,
nice.
Yeah, so it was definitely a good time, man. Those arcade cabinets, we got to keep them alive,
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. No, that's great advice, absolutely. And listeners, you should definitely check out House of the Dead. Look up some YouTube videos. Go on to fan sites. Patrick gave me a really, really good one, which is, what is the website you gave me, Patrick?
The Website of the Dead, and the Website of the Dead is actually owned by me.
You're the owner.
Yeah,
I didn't even know that. News
to me. Yeah, so it's pretty much it's basically the number one House of the Dead fan site on the internet.
No, it's great. I perused it for the last day, just getting ready for this podcast episode, so I could bring everyone all the tasty details on this game series, and it's thorough. I'll say that.
Oh yeah, so with that website too, you might see some stuff that no one has ever seen before, behind the scene developments with the games and stuff. I'll give you a quick rundown on the first game. The original game was also supposed to be a 2-screener, where there's one arcade screen in front of you and the other one in the back. It's called the Reflection System, but they later on scrapped it. But I think they used it later on for House of the Dead for a special, in their arcades and stuff. So that's rad. That's one of them. So I got some more coming up.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, go check out that website, folks, and stay in touch, because if you like a game series, it's always so cool to see how they're made and just get exclusive content about everything that has to do with it, because it can inspire you to do your own things, which is really cool.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. Cool. Is there anything else that you want to add before we put a bow on this package?
Yes. For anyone who lives locally in Georgia or close to, I'm having an event that's dedicated to everything Sega. It's called Sonic and Sega Fan Jam.
Yeah, you guys need to check this out.
Oh yeah, so Sonic and Sega Fan Jam is where people get to play a bunch of Sega titles and stuff from the Master System, Genesis, Sega Saturn, Dreamcast, you name it. So basically what we're trying to do is trying to get the newer generation to tried the games out so that way, we'll get more people into the the charm of Sega. And not only that, we're also going to have special guests who worked on a couple of like Sonic the Hedgehog stuff, like IDW, Sega themselves. Last year we actually brung in a couple of people who worked on Sonic Mania, and it was an absolute blast. We had Simon Tomley, who worked on the Sonic hacking games, like Sonic Mega Mix. We had Hunter Bridges, Brad Flick, Jameson Sutton. He's a good friend, and we had the lovely producer Lola Shirashi. She's really dope. She's awesome. She gives out good advice. Cool. And we also had T Lopes. He's the guy behind the music for Sonic Mania, and he was our DJ. For this year, we're gonna.
That's a good soundtrack.
Yeah, definitely. So this year we're gonna pretty much like focus on what's relevant with Sega now, like with the IDW Sonic comic books. We're probably gonna have a couple of guesses from there. We're gonna have Ian Flynn back. He's the writer for the comic book series. We have Tracy Yardley coming back. We got a few more coming through as well.
So Fan Jam really has a huge pedigree, huh?
Oh yes.
And tickets, growing too.
Yes, tickets should be on sale on by early May, I believe.
Where do you sell the tickets through?
We're gonna have them sold through Eventbrite. It's gonna be like for a good price. We might throw in some bonuses here and there.
I love bonuses.
Yes, and the event is going to be held in Savannah, Georgia on November 10th on Saturday. The time is to be announced, but the location is already set. We're going to have it at the Embassy Suites at the Historic District downtown.
Fantastic. And yeah, if you guys live not in Savannah, Georgia, and you want to like go on vacation, that would be a great time to visit and go to the Fan Jam and hang out. Savannah is also a really cool spot, and this podcast is sponsored by Planet Fun, who is the local toy and video game store, of which Patrick, actually, you were a frequenter of.
Yes.
And you can go check out the Fan Jam, hang out at Planet Fun, check out beautiful Savannah, Georgia, go to the beach. It'll be fun.
If you want to follow updates, we also have social medias. You can follow us on Facebook by typing Sonic and Sega Fan Jam. And for Twitter followers, our tag is at @SSFanJam, and from there we'll keep you guys updated on what's to come.
Fantastic, man. All right, well, EXP fans, thank you so much for tuning in to another timeless edition of EX Podcast. As always, I would like to thank all the kind people that work on our show. Jennifer Ross, our wonderful artist, can be found at jenniferpross.com. Check out our editor and sound dude, Grant, at socktosounds.com. And we can never forget our intro and outro music man, Mr. Michael Fox. All of his tags are Ambassador Fox on all the social media sites, so check him out. He's an amazing musician. If you want more EXP, no worries. Check out our YouTube channel and Facebook page. We're also on Twitter at EX Podcast Gaming. And a kind reminder, if you like what we do and you want some fun extra EXP exclusive benefits, check out our Patreon at patreon.com/gamermang. That's GAMERMANG. And last but absolutely not least, we'd like to thank Patrick, for coming onto the show and sharing with us all of his knowledge. Patrick, thanks so much for coming on with us.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to have you on again. You've been a fantastic guest. You're full of knowledge. We're going to keep an eye on your website. And it's just been a pleasure talking to you.
You too.
Yeah, and with that, EX Podcast would like to remind you and all of our fans that Sega does what Nintendo don't.